one dramatic ending, wasn't it?
Makes us feel terrible.
Wowza.
They killed her.
Oh, God, you two together. This is going to be Geordie Shore again, isn't it?
Yes, they killed her. It was awful.
It was absolutely
I'll try and stick with it.
Oh, don't pander to them. Don't pander.
It must have actually been, though, a really, really sad moment for you as well.
It was, but when we filmed it, they had 5 attempts, and the guillotine, they had a guillotine set up where they dropped the mirror in front of the camera. And after 3, and it failed, I jumped up and said, "Reprieve!" It just like, you know, in any terrible regime, 3 times, you know, you get set free. But they made us go back in until they eventually polished me off.
Have you got a first act that you would pass if you were going to be Charlie Hardwick Prime Minister?
Yes, I'd get the government to go back on its spending policy, and I would publicly fund everything for the services that people who need them, because they've been absolutely savaged. And yesterday there was a report that adults with learning difficulties, they're going to be the next people who won't have any funding to help them. So if you're listening, Theresa, I liked your speech yesterday about our unequal society. Let's make sure you spend on the public who need it and don't slap it.
Not a pink door for number 10 then,
No, and then next, a pink door for number... No, we don't want a gender door. Just a nice blue one. Oh, it's blue, it's gender.
So tell us what you're doing this weekend.
This weekend, I'm reading for a newly commissioned massive piece in Durham to commemorate 100 years of the Battle of the Somme in World War I. And our poet laureate, Carol Ann Duffy, who is just terrific, she has curated letters and poetry and diary entries from people who were in the Durham Light Infantry and who lived in Durham at the time of the Somme, and new music has been commissioned, and there's 2 brass bands and 2 massive choirs, and me and a lad called
in that
Phil
beautiful cathedral.
in the cathedral. Oh, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I've read, you know, some of it's Carol's poetry, which is just, it's so wonderful. You know, if anybody hasn't heard of her, look her up online. She's
And you've got a
brilliant.
strong family connection, haven't you?
Yeah, it just came about that I was talking to a reporter, and he said, you know, did you know anybody who'd served or any family member? And I said, well, yeah, me mum's father at 16 was in the Battle of the Somme, but he died. I never met him. He died in the 1960s.
16?
Oh, look, we've only got 2 photographs of him. You know, I've grown up with him, and that's me mum. And then me mum, when she was 16 in the Second World War, lied about her age and signed up and served.
A lot of them did, didn't they?
Yeah.
My grandfather did as well.
Yeah.
He joined when he was 15. And I went to the Somme, the memorial, theatrical memorial in June, and just the scale of it, you know, and you look, and it's 72,000 of our troops. I know it's 15,000 from the Durham area alone, wasn't it? Just on those battlefields, just gone. Lives wiped out.
Just slaughtered. Absolutely, like lambs to the slaughter, you know, it's like forward they cried, from the rear and the front rank died, you know, and oh, God, terrible. So it's really vital that younger people learn and don't forget about it, because you're only ever 2 generations away from something going, well, what was all that about?
And I suppose for you, you now have a bit more time on your hands so that you're able to get involved in these projects that you obviously feel really passionately about. I mean, how long is it since you left Emmerdale?
It's a year.
It's a year. And how's that year been then? I mean, it must be odd not to be on that kind of treadmill.
I'm on a different treadmill. I thought that I'd be lying about on a chaise lawn, you know, and, you know, wandering about the streets going, oh, isn't it a lovely day? And no, I've been working, I've been doing theatre. I've just directed a little short film with a young women's film project. I made a documentary for the BBC about Newcastle in the 1960s, and
I saw
I've been to a party with you.
So it's nice to be able to do so many other different things.
It's lovely, and I miss the character of Val. Just seeing her there, it's
But didn't you see them all recently? Was it Chris's wedding?
I went to Val Pollard's real wedding, Chris Chitell's real wedding. He married the woman who plays Brenda. I know, but I did think, oh, wouldn't it be funny?
There they are.
So was it lovely to see see everybody again.
Oh, it was great. And I was in my camper van. We camped. It was in Cornwall. It was great. But I thought, wouldn't it be funny when the vicar says, you know, any lawful impediment, you know, I'll stand up and shout, Eric! And then my friend said to us, that would be a really horrible thing to do because it's like a really special day for Leslie and Chris. And I went, oh.
That's you told.
Not so funny then.
But you said, I saw a quote you said where you said, my soul has been rejuvenated.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Obviously, since leaving Emmerdale. Is that because it was a bit of a treadmill?
Well, yeah, I loved the character and I loved the people I worked with, but I hated the hours. I couldn't bear the early mornings, 12, 13-hour days, relentless, not seeing people that you love. And, you know, so after 11 years, I went, I'm going home. Yeah. But I've been singing. I've been doing loads of singing. I sing with a band in Newcastle called Kissed, and I've just yesterday come back from singing with some of those women, because it's all women.
Well, listen, next time you're back, we're going to hear more about that. But you're a busy lady. Thank you, Charlie Hardwick. And there's plenty more where that came from. Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.